Yes, we're live. Good. Okay, there we go. Even though I thought I wasn't going to be able to get to work, it's working. Ta-da. I have no idea what I did differently this time. As far as I know, absolutely nothing. But with that in mind, we're going to go over the little BTC rally that we had today, or I guess the perspective of the non-rally. We're going to do a little Ask Me Anything at the end of this episode, and we're also going to take you into the all-new Arcane Bear Swag that we've posted on the website. So if you go to arcanebear.com/shop, you can see all the new swag. Every t-shirt, tank top, or hoodie, whatever purchased, 5% of all of the profits that are purchased from that swag will be given to the charity that we go to for the next 3 months. So make sure you get your limited edition run of those shirts that are already up and out there. But with that in mind, let's just dive in and I'll show you guys as we go along. So Bitcoin, that's what we're going to take a look at first here. Now, this is a rather doesn't look super exciting. I mean, it's been a very, very exciting many years, depending on, I guess, when you entered the Bitcoin space. We had a wonderful show with Tyler Jenks the other day. Thank you guys all for supporting that. I was in the jungles of Thailand dancing barefoot. So what I want to do here is take a look and just give some perspective. So this is the rally that we saw today. I don't know if you can see it down here, but this little green candle. It's a heck of a lot more noticeable when you move into the 15-minute mark. And that's kind of what we want to talk about today. It's just perspective of time in general. I think people get really excited. Here we are in the 15-minute chart in this green candle. It looks like a beautiful run up. And currently we're having what appears to be a double top with a bounce off the EMA lines here. This is what people get really excited about. Oh, look, it's rebounding. But we can fall just as fast and just as quick from this spot further down than we did before. So I saw one of you guys asked in the chat there, do I still suspect 1200 or lower? Absolutely. As a matter of fact, the quicker, the better. Let's just get it over with. It's like one of those Band-Aid moments. It's like, I don't really want to just rip this off slowly. If we're going to do it, let's get it done and let's get ready for the next waves up. Now, if you look in the traditional stock markets here, I'm looking at the Dow Jones Industrial Average, you actually see that we're returning to the previous lows of 23,533 for the Dow Jones Industrial Average of Friday, March 23rd last year, and 23,592 of where we sit now. So we bumped up 1.27% today, but if you look over the last 5 days, it had been in a steady decline, just about to reach its previous all-time lows. Now, that's not very positive for the stock market as a whole, and you could insinuate in some way that after that drop, we had a quick bounce in Bitcoin. But I do stand by my initial assertion that we made over a month ago now that the negative corollary sentiments in all of the markets are going to move down in unison until the markets realize that they're sick, in which case the medicine then might be ingested. Having Bitcoin down near $1,000 then would make the institutional buyers just drool at the fact that they've seen this asset class move and come back down to below speculation price. Now that's hugely valuable for our sentiments. People have been thinking institutional money has been buying this whole time. It hasn't. I can guarantee you that for a fact. I've spoken with many other large-scale investors, whether they're from the VC or equity side, that really still don't know what blockchain is or why they would want to touch it, let alone all of the money moving in. We have to remember that we hit a $700 billion market cap, and while that's big, it still pales in comparison to the $70 trillion that exists in the gold market. So I want to just give some perspective here. When you go to the 1 hour chart, you can see that this little bump here in Bitcoin's price range brought us back up to the $3,500 mark. Again, a fairly important place of resistance and support here. We had said for the last few weeks that Bitcoin was going to try to close above 3,600, which it has not been able to do. This in itself is almost a death sentence for much lower prices for Bitcoin. A lot of the so-called bulls are going to want to try to see it close above 3,600. If it loses that steam, I do very quickly suspect that it will fall below the $2,800 line and come tumbling down to reasonable prices below actual value through speculation and use case, and then consistent to grow again in the future. And now that's what I am looking forward to. I had some of you guys ask, well, why I was laughing at some of this, because I try to laugh at all of life. It's either one big joke or it isn't. And I prefer to take everything with a little smidgen of comedy. So as you zoom out from a Bitcoin on the 1-day chart as well, you can see again, just the rather insignificant bump that was today, and not to be too excited. We've come steadily crashing back down here. It actually looks fairly similar to this movement here between 12,000 and 7,000, where we first started to touch this initial line of support. We had drawn that here for months, although we had deleted that line as we started to chart much lower prices. I've removed the volume profile here just for the minute, but for those of you that don't have the volume profile, I will put it there. I usually put it in the visible range. Oh, what am I not logged in right now? Oh, I guess I must not be logged into my TradingView account. I will have to do that a little later. I won't do it right now. But basically, we're still looking for lower lows. We do suspect that there would be a bounce. We would hope that there would have been a bounce. Although, again, I do agree with my analogy on the Band-Aid statement. Let's just get this over with as quickly as possible. Go down, rebound, and start our bear market sentiments in our relief form back to all-time highs, and hopefully the large-scale integration of Bitcoin and blockchain into the economic and finance systems. Again, we're going to, we've been chatting with Tone Vase. We're going to have him on the show, Trace Mayer as well, and Tyler Jenks. That's, everyone has a T name, so it'd be Tiho, Tyler, Tone, and Trace. It's a lot of T's for interviews over the next 2 or 3 weeks here, but we're very excited to have all those guests come back on the show. Again, Trace Mayer will be for the first time. Tone Vase we actually had on early last year. So we'll continue to bring you guys up-to-date and informative content. I like to really ask questions and kind of flesh out as much information as possible. The point of what I'm trying to do as myself is aggregate as much content and information as possible so that way I have a better critical thinking position to sit myself from. So let's just do a little bit of the Ask Me Anything while we roll in here. I want to also welcome all the new Bear family that have subscribed from the interview that we had with Tyler Jenks. I really appreciate all that support. That's over 1,000 new subscribers in the last 4 or 5 days while I've been away, I guess kind of on what you might call a vacation. Again, dancing barefoot in the jungle. I'm greatly appreciative of all of the support and the we'll just call it all the support that the Bear family gets. If you're new here, please join the Telegram channel in the links below. There's a vibrant and brilliant community there. It's always willing to help each other grow and learn more. Very compassionate, and I've heard many times it is one of the best, if not the best, crypto Telegram channel to be a part of, because it's not just pandering to Moon and Lambo conversation. It is well-rounded from people that are Anyways, join the Telegram channel. I'm sure you'll have your own experience that goes right along those lines. I'm just going to take a few quick questions from you guys. I'm really excited to show you the new swag. And then from there, again, I guess we'll just dive off. We'll keep it a short show this evening. I really appreciate it. Crypto NN says, keep growing that beard. Yeah, thank you. I actually, this is what happens when I go to the jungle and I go dancing for a few days. I forget to shave and all of my hair starts to go a little wild. There we go. That's better. So yeah, maybe I'll keep growing this ridiculous beard out. It's been 3 or 4 days now. I look silly no matter what I do anyways, so who really cares? That's not a question, but I like that. See, this is Mastermind. I'm going to take a few of these guys' questions here. First off, Mastermind says, what do you think about EOS mooning? Well, first off, EOS didn't moon. It had a relatively short bounce off of around 20%, which is fairly normal in the blockchain space. We had just seen so much downward pressure. You could even imagine that it was coming from Block 1 itself. Remember, these people raised all over, I don't remember how many billions of dollars in Ethereum. They very well could have been buying their own token, kind of making their own market, especially since it was at quite low prices. I would suspect that it's nothing all that special, although you look, Digibyte is up 8% against Bitcoin today too. So you have fairly large moves in the alternative digital currency space to begin with. Veritasium, I'm not again up 8%. I'm not holding anything other than speculative right now, and what I had originally purchased in my portfolio. Again, I had bought Bitcoin at $90, so it gave me a fair amount of room to be able to play and not worry. Again, I want to remind people that anything that you consider your portfolio is money that you're willing to lock away for 3 to 5 years. For instance, I would suggest to anybody owning property, businesses, those are things that you should have in your portfolio. Those are things that I own in my portfolio. I own online real estate that makes residual income. I can rent my house out. I can sell the food that grows on the property. Those things all exist there for me. So in a well-rounded portfolio, it's not like I just own crypto. I'm not relying entirely on this. I want to remind people that I'm not betting everything on this. I like a well-rounded portfolio because I myself am trying to curb the volatility of my own human being. So back to the question of what do I think about EOS? Well, it's up around 9% today. It looks like it's going to retest the initial areas of support. So I'll go back here. The initial areas of resistance that it had. So it's had a nice little run, but it's got a lot of support and resistance around this layer anyways. Again, I would probably, if I were just to make a quick guess about why this is probably block one, just taking advantage of the cheap prices and emptying Ether into EOS. That would be my guess. It was a good time in the market to do it for them, or at least temporarily, if they're looking to move from one token into the next and accumulate more of their own. Again, that's in just speculation coming from the tip of my tongue and the top of my head. Anyways, let's take one or two more quick questions here from everyone. Let's see. Tio, could you ask the Bear family to sign the petition to the free Ross Albright? Yeah, I don't know what the petition. So here, Derek, yeah, sure. Everyone go try and find the petition that he's talking about and sign it if you're interested. The only downside that I would see there is that I don't think people are let out of jail because of petitions. I have yet to see that happen. So if it does, all the power to them. Again, Ross Albright was, I guess, the founder of the Silk Road. Again, they kind of caught him through entrapment and a few difficult lines. It's gray area. I mean, really, there's easier ways to make a lot of money. Why would you want to dabble in the black market? You can make an enormous amount of money selling dry leaves that are legal. Why would you want to even touch? It's always been a sentiment I've had. You can make hundreds of millions of dollars a year selling loose leaf tea if you know how to do it properly. So why do something that's illegal? Anyways, very interesting sentiment there. But yes, I agree. Go read Ross Albright's story. If you feel that signing the petition will help in any way, please do that again as well. Again, I have never seen anyone be released from prison from a petition, but hey, all the power to the universe to surprise me. Well, once again, I would love to be proven wrong on that one. Let's take a look at a few more thoughts. What do you think about the beta test of Lightning Network and Bitcoin? Your thoughts on Litecoin? I've said many times that I think atomic swaps through multiple currencies and Bitcoin will be a huge layer. That I look at a lot of this as a cable of commerce. One of the things that Tyler and I didn't fully agree on in our last interview, I guess our first interview, was essentially the necessity for multiple versions of cryptocurrencies. I think Bitcoin is likely to end up being the unified remittance layer, again replacing the system of SWIFT and the quadrillions, although people are dumb enough to think it's going to be XRP, which makes absolutely no sense because it doesn't solve the bank's liquidity problem in fiat money printing. This, on the other hand, does solve that. Although the disagreement that I have with Tyler here is that I think other faster currencies, as in compared with monies and smart contracts, will come into play to build that atomic swap layer so you can go in and out of money into currency and make instantaneous transactions based off that remittance layer. Again, that's just kind of like a vague vision I have in my mind. I'm mostly a conceptual human being, so I'm not looking at it too much from a tech perspective. So with things like the Lightning Network, What I'm really interested to see is the transactions between multiple currencies, again, making a smoother layer of decentralization. One of the things that's so interesting about these technologies is that they are censorship resistant to some degree, right? At least more so than we've already seen. Again, with something like Litecoin in comparison to Bitcoin, you have the same underlying technology, but they have different variations and functions. And then remembering the perception of value is one of the most cognitively difficult things to understand. Otherwise, money would be a lot easier for most people to understand, and it is already probably one of the most esoteric forms of energetic transfer that we have on the planet, aside from something like compact fusion. Anyways, let's see what else we get here for one or two more questions. I want to show you guys the swag. We'll go from there. So Samantha Jane says, and I quote from Samantha, says, I used my retirement fund that I wasn't going to touch for a long time, so I'm good, and it's already worth much more than it was last summer when I bought. Great, Samantha. That's amazing to hear that you entered in the early of summer last year. You're right. We are still up higher than we were then. I think Bitcoin was around $600 to $800 when we first started our channel here and writing on arcanebear.com. So glad some of you made it in early. Again, for those of you that didn't, please remember, first off, none of this is investment advice. We're strictly showing you information that we've come across and that we find valuable and informative. So it's basically here to help you make your own critical decisions to go from there. So I'm gonna take one or two more quick thoughts. Bitcoin Cash. I have no feelings on Bcash right now. So I disagree here with the idea that Bitcoin going to 1K is not a good thing. Look, the universe is not, it doesn't not care about good or bad things. I actually believe it's a good thing for it to go lower. That way we get below the speculative line of real value, and then have the ability to grow up then from there. So it's my transition. I'm going to leave it at that. Let's take a look at this new fresh Arcane Bear Swag. I'm very excited to share this with you guys. So first off, we had the mock-up design we posted on our Instagram today. If you don't follow us on Instagram, you don't have to, but I would love it if you did. Tiho Bear, as you can see here, you can go on the website. Again, any of the Arcane Bear swag that you do buy, like say this, I don't know, maybe you want to grab your girlfriend a new t-shirt or tank top for the holiday season. 5% of any of the profits from these new Arcane Bear Swag t-shirts will be given to the charities that we go to visit each month. We also have the men's hoodies. I'm super excited to order one of these myself. These are absolutely brilliant. I mean, the Arcane Bear logo here just looks phenomenal. So very, very grateful to finally have been able to update to the new collectors and limited edition of these. Again, we are only going to be running these versions for the next 3 months. So make sure you do that. We're going to try to bring a new artist on every 3 months to redo the Arcane Bear logo. And again, from now until forever, portions of the profits will always be given to the charities that we go and visit each month. It's just a way to help do our best to inform and to share. And with that also in everyone's mind, before we jump too far away from that, if you go to arcanebear.com/shop, buy yourself some swag, order it for the holiday season, give it to a loved one, whatever you want to do. It not only helps us, but helps others as well. And then you get this super sporty rockin' sweater that I'm jealous that I can't even order right now because I don't have an address over here. But anyways, super excited about that. And just for a heads up and a reminder, we will be going to Sri Lanka on the 26th of December, the day after Christmas. We will be then meeting up with a beautiful professional painter who's doing a mural at a child's orphanage. And we will be going to that same children's orphanage, bringing them gifts, making a little party out of the deal, painting with them, playing. It'll be a few-day endeavor, and the company that's helping enable us to do that right now is Energy Cryptocurrency. They are a very similar fork of Dash. They're one of the partners that has jumped on board with our impact media designs, where every month we are going to be going to these orphanages, raising attention and awareness for each of these different NPOs and NGOs. So if you guys want to, you can make your own direct donations. We want nothing to do with that. And we'll also be going to a wildlife conservation in Sri Lanka in the mid of January as well, as part of this as well. So if you haven't checked out Energy, make sure you do that. Very grateful for our partners to jump on board and help them use their marketing budgets to do good in the world. Again, arcanebear.com/shop if you want to order yourself a sweet swag area here before the holiday season passes. Again, 5% of this will always be donated to charity from our profit side. And we will also actually, look at this, ladies and gentlemen, we will be turning the Arcane Bear newsletter back on in January. So if you want, now you're more than welcome to sign up for the early access to the Arcane Bear Club, members only. We'll basically be doing a newsletter. We'll be opening up our education center. And again, we'll give you guys all discounts for whoever signs up, probably for around 15% off any of the swag that you do order for the month that you are members. Again, if you don't have a Ledger or a Keep Key or a Trezor, you can order them through our website as well. They go direct to those. And anyways, that's enough merch shout out for us. We will be doing this for the rest of the month. So if you haven't yet, you'll get used to hearing me tell you about all the new swag that we add, and every 3 months we'll try to find a new artist that does these fantastic pieces for us. Again, this one was done by a Costa Rican artist named Martin Morales. Very, very grateful. So these are what our limited edition Arcane Bear runs will continue to look like. So thank you guys for all supporting everything that we do. I'm deeply appreciative of all the help and support that we have gotten from this ride so far. I want to leave you guys off with one last thing. I want to add a little segment of the vlog that I'm working on this week. So I went to Wonderfruit in Thailand. Anyways, I'm going to let you guys watch that. It is only a minute long. If you're new to the Bear family, give us those thumbs up, subscribe, join our Telegram channel, buy yourself some swag, do whatever it is you want to do. I deeply appreciate and am humbled by all the support this community gets. It's T with the Arcane Bear, and I'm going to leave you guys with this beautiful, beautiful little video that we made from our weekend. Enjoy. Anyways, that was the little video from Wonderfruit we had this weekend. Very excited about that. Annie G Host says, oh, tone. So I'm just going to leave it off with this here because thank you, Annie Ghost G Host. I don't know if I've read that wrong. For the super chat, I really appreciate that. She says, can you explain how Tone considers all alts worthless when blockchain tech supposedly solves more problem than just currency? Doesn't that mean that there's at least a few alts that will possess legitimate utility? I absolutely agree with you here. Tone, I don't want to speak for Tone, but I would assume that he's likely making a blanket statement just due to the inherent failure rate of businesses in general. For instance, as an entrepreneur, I know, because I've seen other people fail, often you have around a 80 to 90, if I say 80%, it's fairly generous, but 90% is probably more statistically frequent for companies to fail. So in the blockchain space, you probably have around 90% of most things which are just going to fail by the nature of creation itself almost. So around 10% of those companies, it's easier to say that most of them are worthless than it is to say, well, 10% of those are actually valuable. So in that sentiment, on a statistical average, I would agree with Tone, but the 10% that are successful will blow the doors off that sentiment. So that's where I would disagree. Obviously, Amazon just selling books was not perceived to be a massive winner. It was also not even profitable for its first few years in a company. And now, as we know, it is, I believe, the most valuable company on the planet. I may have gotten that wrong, so please someone fact check me on that one. But that 10% comes out of the gates swinging, and we don't know what they are. So there's two sides to that argument. I wouldn't suggest that all currencies or blockchains are worthless. I would just say that 90% of them are going to be failures, so it's easier to say that a good chunk of them are worthless. Anyways, this is Teal with the Arcane Bear. Again, thanking you guys for all of the support, the inspiration that you bring every day, and for returning to support the Arcane Bear community. This is Teal. I'm signing off for the rest of the evening, thanking you from the bottom of my heart and the depth of my crazy mind.